nice try though.
Alright,
That is ugly as fuck.
let's see. So, Seraphy is our, once again, currently our only healer, so I'm gonna train my Arcanist so that I can become a scholar and be another healer. Since they nerfed the shit out of Astro. And I'm still super sad about that.
I gotta go back to the house, because god damn it.
Hey, people.
I cannot deal with this ugly ass armor.
Holy impression? What?
Do I have a Discord? Yes, I do.
Hi, we're in it.
Yeah. Hello, we're in it.
Alright, well, I'm ready when you are.
Alright, give me 1 second, because I got a Mog. Or Glamour. I keep wanting to say Mog. Transmog. I'm so used to fucking World of Warcraft's terms. That's what they call it. Hey, Otaku!
You called us fucking nerds for talking about RuneScape earlier.
Yeah, Raikou, yeah, I do. Where's Mark when you need him?
I know, right? But yeah, I'm gonna train my Arcanist for the leveling dungeon, because I need to get that up to level 30 and above.
I need the Glamour. This shit is just ugly as fuck.
But hi, chat. How are you?
This is Final Fantasy 14. Also, look at the freaking titles!
I forgot to change it. Look at the top left. Final Fantasy. There you go. Final Fantasy 14.
Where the fuck is my...
I am not Koi, no. We are two completely different people.
How do y'all get them two confused still?
I don't fucking know.
I don't get it. I don't fucking get
We
it.
sound nothing like. At all. Like, my Rosé's different than his. My Vegeta's different than his. Like, I don't understand.
Your Vegeta's like 100 times bad.
Oof.
Sorry, Koi.
Oh, the samurais. Where the fuck is my...
Hey, Riku. I am wearing pants.
I am outside!
But on Mr. Iglesias? Yeah. Dude, once again, I highly recommend that show. They haven't announced when season 2 is coming out, but still, dude, like, if you haven't seen Mr. Iglesias on Netflix, we watched it last night on Twitch. See, that's one of the perks of being over on my Twitch side. Don't be a bitch, go to Twitch. We have movie nights. Last night we watched 4 episodes of Mr. Iglesias, Fluffy's new show, and it was freaking hilarious. And yeah.
Well, while you enjoy your talk about the show you're watching, I'm gonna go and go do something that Tom never does and sleep.
All right, later, Joe. I mean, Joe. Hi, Joe. Later, Tom. Tom said hi. I mean, I'm getting all fucking messed up. Joe said hi at the same time you said you were leaving. So.
Oh, sick. Right. Well,
Later, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Sleepy bastard. I love how my Nightbot says that. It says, whenever someone says the word Goku, or tries to call me Goku, it'll say, Gur is a person, not a character. Please respect him as such, you friggin' towel. Then it'll time the route for 10 seconds. Great. We are in one of the private rooms. Moment.
Trying to decide what I want to wear here.
I'm fine at the moment. It's not so much that I need to stay awake, Andrea. It's I need to be able to go to bed at a decent hour. That's my problem. Yeah, because I got to be into work at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, that's my issue. Going to bed at a decent time. I've been trying to go to bed, you know, at a better hour, but like insomnia is a bitch. What about Xenoverse, Markel?
Oh, that's not the one I want. Where the fuck are my boots?
Fucking women, I swear. Yeah, I start, Well, no. I'm literally sitting here waiting for you to get fucking ready with your clothes.
I'm doing things.
I start tomorrow at a senior living center called Sunrise, where I'll be a caregiver, taking care of old guys who have like dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff like that. And I start tomorrow. So like the past 3 days, I've been trying to get my sleep schedule back in order, so that I'll be able to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and be okay. But nope. Like I went to bed last night at like 3:30 a.m. because I normally wake up at around noon anyway. But like, yeah, I tried to go to bed earlier than I normally do because normally I go to bed at around 6 o'clock in the morning and wake up at noon. Tried to go to bed at 3 a.m. last night, but I ended up laying there until around 5:30ish due to fucking insomnia. I couldn't sleep.
That sucks.
Yeah, I don't like kids.
Yeah, I don't either. Hi, Joe. Wait till after we do our dailies, don't the same, then I'll help you out.
Yeah, kids are tiny little Hitlers.
Whoops. Oh, I can't wear those. Duh.
But yeah, those of you who are on YouTube, come over to Twitch. We have movie nights and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll invite you here in a second, Katie. Give me like 2 seconds.
A strong hatred for ducks. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't want kids because of the fact that, in my experience, kids are assholes. More so than everyone else in the world. Reason why? Because until around the age of, I want to say maybe 10, 11, 12-ish, you don't have that sense of right and wrong. And so kids are completely selfish and only think about themselves. And damn everybody else. And that makes kids the biggest assholes on the planet. And I want nothing to do with that shit.
Yeah, I heard, Joe. About damn time.
Like, I eventually do plan on having kids someday, but not anytime fucking soon. You get what I mean? Yeah, fuck that. I'm sure Lily wants kids, but not anytime soon. Fuck that. Sorry, man, but you're gonna have to go wanting for a while, man. Hell no. I'm not dealing with no goddamn kids unless I absolutely have to. Fuck that.
Is Lily in the chat?
No, she's not, but...
Uh-oh.
That's a big oof, Dylan. Well, Miguel, you'd have to follow me on Twitch in order to get that notification. I mean, I could, you know, upload a video saying that I'm live on Twitch every now and again, but usually when I stream to both YouTube and Twitch at the same time anyway. But, like, typically what'll happen when I feel like having a movie night or whatever, I'll just be streaming and be like, hey, everybody jump over to Twitch, we're gonna have a movie night. You can come if you want. But other than that, because that's what we did last night.
Movie nights are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I play Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1? You need to say nice to ref.
Yeah, they're tiny little Hitlers, guys.
Marion, please have some patience. I was gonna invite that other chick, but Katie can't really do anything with you unless you're not on.
Tiny little Hitlers.
Get your butt on, woman.
Next time I have off, well, no, because I'm not sure if it's going to be like this all week, but my boss said that tomorrow I'll only be there for an hour at work. So
you're only doing the whole 8 o'clock shift, like
just for this week.
Just for this week.
Until next Tuesday, basically. Yeah, it's orientations. After that, it'll be 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Do I play fighters? Not anymore, I don't.
Yeah, floofs are definitely better than kids. I have a fur baby. Her name is Sophie.
What are you talking about? You were a kid once.
And I was not a tiny little Hitler. According to my mother, I was always a good kid. My sister, on the other hand, was a bitch. Always has been.
I was gonna say, isn't she kind of still a bitch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my sister was... my sister's nickname as a kid was Curly Top Pink Tornado. Curly hair, and she used to always wear pink pajamas. And pink was her everything. Everything had to be pink. And she would run around the house basically terrorizing everyone in it. If she was having a bad time, so was everybody else. My sister's always been like that. And according to my mom, I haven't changed since I was a baby. I'm still super quiet and I'm super introverted and I don't talk to people. So, I was a good kid.
I do not, Demarion, no.
Favorite character to voice? Joe Swanson and Vegeta. Those are my two favorites.
Damn it! I don't have enough for this yet.
Yeah, Vegeta's super fun because I get to yell at people. Just angry Lanny Pator Vegeta is basically what my Vegeta is. If Lanny's Vegeta was angry all the time.
I got you. Katie, just join the party.
I need to record one. I don't even think I have one recorded. What do you want it as, Joe? I can record it now if you want. I need to do a bits one too.
Daphne, you want to join in before we go in on this or no? That's a member from my live stream. Decided the friend hut.
Well, hi, new person.
Katie. Hey, Altrezino.
Well, that's the thing. Figuring out what fucking to do for it, because they're so far all of them are Dragon Ball themed. So I guess I could do like a Kid Goku one or something. Which one are you doing?
You're a healer, right?
No.
Oh, you want the leveling one? Of course you do that one.
I need to get. I'm trying to become a healer, so that's why I need the duty leveling one. Trying to be a scholar, yo.
No problem, Daphne. Sorry you're not feeling good, bud.
Yeah, I'll do a GT Goku one, and maybe, I don't know, I guess a Broly one. Broly and GT Goku will be the sub and bits.
Okay, you can still help. I think it is. Can't tell. I have like 3 times already, Alyssa.
Probably for sub it'd be something like I don't know, My power is rising, getting stronger. I don't know. I'll come up with something.
I'm short 300k to get this fucking permit to change
Yeah,
our
I'm
hat.
trying to become a scholar, which is like a summoner healer. Like, see, like my little carbuncle. Like I get little familiars and shit. But yeah, my weapon's a book. So I'll be a healer with summons and stuff like that.
That's just like, ew, he did a non-canon Broly voice. They're both the same voice.
It really is. Okay. What would you prefer I have said? You should be nice to your father. Even if he is a piece of shit. There's new Broly. You happy? Jeez.
Because I don't have this on PS4 yet. I'm considering eventually getting it for PS4, but it's expensive.
Well, you'd have to pay the $40 again to get it for PS4.
Well, no, you'd pay $20 for the original, and then if you just buy Shadowbringers, it's only like 40 or 60 bucks for all of it.
Yeah. So about 60 bucks.
Yeah. Question is, can we change it though? Seeing as we already have a house on there?
Saying what though, Joe? Oh, Andre, I don't think I showed you this one. I have a Gale kitten. Check this out. It's a flying floof. See? My little flying floof. Gale kitten. Once again, Joe, what would I say though is the problem?
What do you want me to send the Gardania for?
Probably something like, it is neither Goku nor Vegeta. Is the one, this is the person that's just subscribed to you or something. I'll figure it out. Is that guy dressed like Riku? Nope, he's dressed as Noctis.
Damn it. Am I good at Xenoverse 2? I'm decent. Of course, I got the dungeon in the middle of transferring to Gardania.
Yep, I have a flying floof. Hey, Hitaka.
No, I refuse to play Fortnite. God damn it, that ringtone.
Our registration was withdrawn because Ciel's a scrub.
Yeah, no, because what happened was I was transferring over to Gardania, and while I was in the load screen, it canceled because it wouldn't load out in time.
You failed. Yep, my floof can fly.
Because loading times are a bitch.
Look at him flapping his little arms.
That's a cute little haircut.
Yep, I have a flying floof.
Nice thumbs up. I approve of that hair stuff. And also, the Rafferty, no, I'm like, it won't.
I can't, but Corey can. I don't know. I wanted to watch Tropic Thunder and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Those are so far the only two movies that are on the list. Those two.
I changed it.
I can't, Joe. I have work tomorrow. I can't this week. Unless I start like right now, I can't. Because I've worked all this week. I gotta be in there at 10 a.m. And it's about a half-hour bike ride and shit. And so I gotta be up earlier than 10. Yep, I gotta be an adult now, so I can't. I do have this weekend off, though.
No problem, Jonathan. Apex Legends is just as dumb. Just say.
Oof. I mean, I can, I guess, hold the pole.
Fortnite is more of a dead game, not a dead game. Really?
So, any particular reason why our healer is trying to tank? Are they retarded? What's the problem? Because I just saw our healer running in there by themselves. Did you call them an idiot for me?
No, I know what they were doing, but they ended up grabbing the mobs in the meantime.
Yeah, that'll probably be this weekend if we do movie night. Because, like I said, I have work all this week. And unfortunately, unless I can try to negotiate me coming in, you know, later than 10, you know, I won't be able to stay up all that late, unfortunately, which really freaking sucks.
Because I like doing 1v1s in the universe too. They're funner. Hello, King Alex. How are you?
But yeah, after orientation and shit, I'll be working 5 days a week from 2 to 10 p.m. So
Your feet are gonna hate you.
why you say that? My legs are gonna fucking hate me.
That too.
Because remember, I'm gonna have to fucking ride 3 miles to get to work every day. Exactly. And CL don't. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. You don't know what dude you are. Have you seen Tropic Thunder, CL?
I don't think so. Not yet, anyway.
Fucking hilarious movie, man. Yeah, my calves are gonna look amazing, and well, bike riding works out all your muscles at the same time. So, if ever there was a way for me to lose weight and start getting in shape, riding my bike every day, you know, for a half hour like that is definitely gonna be the way to do it. So I'm gonna, regardless of whether I want to or not, I'm going to lose a shit ton of weight just from that concept alone. So. My mom doesn't leave until, my mom leaves at 2 o'clock, so she said she'd drive me to work on the days that she's here. She's out of town, though, at the moment.
Bye, Alyssa.
And my grandma's out of town, too, so I have the house to myself. So I kind of have no choice, but unless I can somehow convince Heel to come, you know, pick me up and take me. But tomorrow, he also has orientation for his job at like a half hour after mine starts. Like, no, a half hour before, because I go in at 11 tomorrow. He goes in at 10:30. So yeah.
Thank you for the follow, True Shadows.
But yeah, I'm gonna for sure be in shape.
Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll do like a donation stream for viewer battles. I'm not just gonna outright battle people randomly. I'm gonna make an incentive to do it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If you donate, you can play with us. Fair. I think that's fair.
Bridge does that sometimes.
I'm not doing shit with Xenoverse concerning playing with fans until Koi gets that mod pack together. And like, if anybody wants to play with me in terms of that, they'd have to get said mod pack, because if they'd be able to get said mod pack quickly, that means their connection would be strong enough to play with us in the first place. You get what I mean? Joe, you're different. You're part of the friend circle, dumbass. For being an asshole.
Alex, I've done a face reveal.
Yeah, where you been?
Why would I do another one at 100K? Dion, please don't ask for subs.
That would be fun, Dylan. I can teach you to edit, Dylan, if you want to learn. Is that a crossy?
I don't know.
I might have heard a crossy. Crossy? Hello?
No.
Oh, hi, Rich. What's up?
It's a manho.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I can teach you.
Ew.
What?
No. No.
No, no, no. Hell no. No.
Why is he a manho? He just is.
Nah, Matt's the man. He took that over. Gave it to him.
That's it. Oof.
Who did?
Mataru.
Oh, he's a manho now?
Twerking on Twitch.
That is a good point.
For money. No less.
Nani?
Eat. All that do. Now he is the man Vegeta gave him that 200 and he had it twerked on Twitch. How do you say, man?
How's it going with those?
How's it going, dude?
Oh, the gone up.
Wrong way. Wrong the fuck way. I still was going the wrong way.
What are you doing?
I don't fucking know. I'm coming.
That's what she said.
Shut up. Jake, you're funny.
I am funny.
I can't argue that.
Yeah, you've seen American Pie, right?
I haven't.
Ah, you guys are funny.
Not by choice. I just never had the opportunity to watch it. Like, I'd totally be down. It's just one of those things I never got around to.
You should have joined us yesterday, but you were watching Mr. Glaze.
Yeah, we watched the whole thing.
We don't want to interrupt. We're gonna watch part 2 tonight.
Bye bye, Miss American Pie.
It's my favorite Dragon Ball movie. I personally have to go with the new Broly movie.
Meh. I ain't that into it. It's good. Ain't that damn good.
Now, if I had to pick out of favorites, that would be the one.
Why is that?
Animation's way better.
It's what bubbly? What bubbly Goku's your favorite Goku?
Don't worry about it.
Don't hate.
I hate you say bubbly Goku's your favorite though. My favorite animation was Battle of the Gods. Everybody actually looked like in their DVD style. You know, before we decided to, go with the style. Plus, it's just crispy. The only thing I didn't like is stop adding goddamn CGI. Leave the shit alone.
Yep. Agreed.
I mean, bro, I will say the blast effects for bro, they're pretty good. But everything else, I still don't like that CGI shit.
Why are we echoing? I hear echo.
I don't know.
No. I have no idea. You know, when I hear the echo.
For once, it ain't coming from me this time because I don't see my thing lighting up.
I know it's coming from me, and it's weird. And I don't know why. Yep. Koi's favorite part was the cup scene with Stifler. And lest we forget the MILF.
I wasn't prepared for that phone call, Miguel. Hey, Denise.
You're
Hold on,
Spider-Man?
BRB.
Neat.
Yeah, I'll be for a second.
Hello, David. The hell's American Pie? A great movie? My advice to you for Xenoverse 1, why are you playing Xenoverse 1? But Xenoverse 2 is way better. I don't even play Xenoverse 1 anymore, so I can't give you any tips.
Pick a Saiyan, spam ultimates. There you go. Because Saiyans get infinite ki when they're Super Saiyan. So.
Hey, Mimi, thank you for the house, hun. No, there's others on Twitch, I believe. I thought it's alright, Denise. How was yours? Half of them is like a lurk. It released the hounds!
Yeet. Andrea says apparently your hair is cotton candy still, and it's made for a bridge.
It's not. It's not cotton candy.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Exactly, don't worry about it. It's fine. Your screen was that. Have you tried doing window capture instead of game capture, maybe?
What's she trying to do?
You said try streaming Xenoverse 2 on OBS if your screen was black.
Can't use game capture. If that doesn't work, use window capture.
It's possible you can't run it either. Did, but still black.
I don't like the way you said black.
It's not cotton candy, it's fluffy. See, exactly. Hi, Scory.
I just want to say that YouTube sucks ass. What did you say to me? I said YouTube sucks ass. Twitch can suck ass, and you know
You're
it.
really gonna do this.
Why you have to come at me like that, bro? What are you doing? What you coming at me like that? You know Twitch is the name of the game. Twitch is not the name of the game. It's YouTube that is the name of the game.
This
We're
fucking
kicking your
guy.
ass constantly. Your asses. So what y'all need to do is fall back, learn your place, and maybe if you're good enough, we'll give you a little shout out on our channel, you know, because you kind of need the rub. We need the rub, really. We need the rub. Why don't you fix your goddamn monetization before you want to start talking shit? If I talk shit, you just came back and stole it, bitch. Yeah. How is it going with your little Article 14 in the UK? Yeah, get that fixed on your side. While on Twitch, they'll just keep coming to us. Keep coming to us with your little copyright claims. Get that fixed and come talk to us, you little bitch.
A bridge just arguing with the voices in his head.
They come to me. They understand. They talk to me.
Maybe it's like, can I slap him now?
Maybe kiss my fat muffin butt. How about that? You do that.
Don't worry about it, Joe. It's fine.
Of course. She's on Twitch. Why am I so... Yeah, why am I so
are
active?
you echoey?
Maybe... Let me miss my setting. It wasn't like this when I was talking to you earlier.
Damn, that's experience though, holy shit.
Yeah. How about now? No?
I'm not
My-
sure, David. It's probably just YouTube being dumb. with
My
that shit.
My echo cancellation's on and noise suppression, all that's on. I don't get it.
Is it coming from your end?
All I hear is the echo, but I'm not
No,
sure.
it is your side.
I am outside.
Yeah, it is your side that's echoing off him.
Turn up the sensitivity more. Fine.
Fucking blame us for your crappy ass fucking settings.
All right, how do I sound?
I need to figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner.
Maybe present your butt and I'll kiss it. How about that? That's what I thought.
Okay, I
And-
want to do 50, 60 dungeons, but you're not on the character that can do it, there, Gur.
I can switch.
Thank you, Mr. Garrison. I learned well from him. How would you like to suck my bowels? Present your bowels. Oh, so you heard me, Mimi. You want me to kiss your ass? Present that ass, and I will kiss it. Damn, dude. Didn't know you.
Level 23. I'm getting there.
You might have not seen the first one, but you're more than welcome to join us for the second one. Which is better.
My day's fine. Alright, I'm going to switch. Are you doing tank or what are you doing, Seal?
I'm doing tank.
Alright.
Roman, you're more than welcome as well. If you don't, then don't present the offer.
Oh, thank you, Melissa.
Wasn't expecting that answer.
Well, damn, Mimi.
Oh, damn. Tell me how you really feel. I would, but I have been
Go ahead and
kidnapped
queue us
by a
up. I'm waiting on
mystic,
you.
I have been kidnapped by a girl in the sea. I currently am kind of tied up. You know, my money's funny right now, so, you know.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and queue us up.
I got it. Calm down.
Go fudge yourself.
What?
Make it into a Hingen style.
Your cow.
Your cow.
Wait, so it's Vegeta's job to kiss your butt? Well, I didn't know you and Vegeta got down like that. Wow. Oh, I know it's you, Andrea. I know it's you. But again, don't make that offer if you're not gonna put it out there.
Okay. Gotcha, Joe. Naughty! 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 I don't fucking know. What is his power? There we go. Figure it out.
I did not need to know that, Mimi. Not need to know that. Told me the manhole.
Yes. My name.
I still gotta put into your courtroom with Frieza suing. But
Oh my god. Oh my god, my name.
Fat Tubbalord. For this topo, this Lord Tubbalord. Well, fuck yourself, Frieza!
Oh my god, my nipples.
God damn it.
That's why there.
Oh my god, my nipples! My nipply nips!
Oh, zombie pew!
Waiting on CL.
We're waiting on the dungeon right now.
Bloody
It's
baby.
going alright.
I should probably check on.
That has a dragon.
I wanna check something.
Oh, I can cash out now if I wanted to.
Let's switch back to my little dragon.
I think I'll save that for later. I'm at one.
You defeated Xehanort. Good job, Groovy. Do it.
I'm at 400.
Show me your boob.
50 subscribers.
Come on! Falcon Punch!
What do you mean? Why don't I visit 21 anymore?
What's up, Blaze King?
Yeah,
Don't you know?
I will yeah on you.
Don't disrespect me.
Ow.
Disrespect me. Bitch, don't you disrespect me.
Yeah.
Don't you disrespect
Oh.
me, bitch. Don't you disrespect me.
Oh.
Where's my monies?
Oh.
You shush. You
Oh.
shush.
Oh.
Where's Mark? Mark, we're gonna kick out of this. Oh, gee. You enjoyed that video? I made you. The Napa thing. You enjoyed that? I hate your cockroach. I know.
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
This is fun. Wow. This part fell off. I'll have to super glue it. It fell off.
Guys, no houses have been. Damn it! I want a house of Kagane. Damn it!
Honest.
Can I pound the hot? What?
Can you pound the hot dog? I mean, but why there?
But why though?
I thought you might say that, girl. Missed opportunity.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Video, do I think I'm
I don't worry about it.
Probably gonna do another react next because I got another react in the works.
Oh, I got a react in the works right now.
My outfit's better than yours.
So disrespectful.
What? It's the truth.
It's disrespectful.
The truth. I got
Doesn't make it any less disrespectful.
thigh-high socks, tennis shoes, skirt, or bra. Way sexier.
Bro.
What?
Hey, Epic, how are you?
Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. That's 5 to 10.
Nigga, don't do that. That's 5 to 10.
Listen to Dave.
Yeah, Gerb, but who's got the better, sexier looking weapon? I think not you.
Mine's electricity-ified, ma'am. Thank you.
Mine's like all darkness and pink.
Mine's purple. Fuck out of
So
here.
was mine. So was mine.
Ladies, you're both pretty.
Yours is magenta. Mine is straight up purple.
And they still go.
She wants to fucking go. Let's go.
Unlike Piccolo, you both had a good day. As the Joker says, it takes one's bad day. Make me hush, Mimi.
Yeah, my weapon's fucking purple, bruh.
Really, bruh?
How's it going, bruh?
It is a form of purple.
Mine is just straight up purple, though. That's my point.
Wait, think you're better than me?
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Common sense, do not mock the blade. The sword is mighty.
Well,
I have an orb and a sword. Both
BRB
purple.
real quick.
She is trying to one-up me. I feel so disrespected. Guys, I did, by the way, turn off all the visual effects and shit. Reason why? My computer is trash, and I'm trying to minimize on lag. No, you can't control... You don't control dick, Joe. I'm sexy.
And now, well, sexy. Where the fuck is the key? Mimi says hi, girl.
Stop.
Good job, stealing. I'll take its fur. Make a good fur coat out of that.
You can't control dick, Joe. I'm a roof floof now.
Hey, Dark Matter, how are you? Later, Paul. I didn't even know you were here, my dude.
Ow, that hurt. I'm a frozen. I was frozen today.
I was frozen today. Oh, I was frozen today too. That pose that froze me in the. Oh, likewise, Epic.
Oh, fuck you.
You can't avoid that. You gotta actually take that hit. I was frozen today.
Keeps fucking freezing me. It's pissing me off. God damn it. He,
That was Kate's first time playing Red Mage.
huh?
Dude, Red Mage is broken. I just want to point that out.
Oh yeah, Red Mage is great.
What kind of anime do I watch? I watch all sorts of shit.
Oh, I see. Liv Williams is a midget.
Yeah, she's a lolly. Yeah, they are friends. Or did Manho go to? I don't know. He got quiet.
Me just plotting something.
Boyd's not here, J-Ron. Just Meeker and Abridged are here.
I'm not sure. I heard that all the people who bought that bathwater from that chick got herpes.
My question is, why the fuck did they buy it in the first place? That was stupid.
Uh-huh. Disgusting. That's how you get tinnitus. Yeah, cute. She is cute. I won't lie. She is adorable. But like, yeah, apparently she has herpes. What about Gohan?
Hey, Kiko.
Okay.
Only killed the big ass.
I can't do shit. I'm frozen.
Come on, do your frontal. God damn it!
What?
Trying to get the Spriggans, and I can't fucking get them. Yeah, that would have been easier if y'all would have let me do the Spriggans. Where do you think you're going?
Come get Peach.
I appreciate it, Dark Matter. No, you're not. It's only about an hour in. It's not that late. Vegeta or Gogeta, all the way. Come on, bitches. Oh, definitely Gogeta for comparing him to Gotenks. Yeah. Fuck Gotenks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Rage Boy. life? Life is good.
Getting better, I guess? Question mark?
SSJ4 Gogeta.
Yours is not a towel.
You are a cow.
You're a
Fucking
cow.
beard's weird.
You're a cow.
You're a cow. Fuck, beard's weird.
This is a long ass dungeon.
One of the longest ones. Rachel, I don't think you did that. You can't legitly beat this game. It's an MMO.
Somebody trying to flex but failed at it.
Yeah. Nice try, Rachel.
He could what?
I mean, story-wise, you can beat it, but there's always something to do. You remember how to run this, right, Gur?
Worst case scenario, I'll figure it out.
When he does lunar cry, hide behind the thing.
Kia! Now, once again, it's an MMO. It's especially an ongoing MMO, meaning they're always constantly adding new content. Therefore, it's impossible to beat it.
It's possible to beat the story before the next expansion comes out, but like there's always something to do.
Yep. Could you fucking chill with these AoEs? Asshole.
You used to it. Behind the pillar. Behind the pillar.
Well, none of us were anywhere close to that pillar. What the fuck did you want us to do? What about Chi-Chi, Marco?
Now it's Fenrir.
It's always in a different spot, though, is the problem.
When he does 3 like that, look for the one that doesn't get. Like, this one over here.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. They're always in a different spot. Sometimes we can't make it to it, which is what happened last time. Like, all the rest of us were on the other side of the map. There was no way in hell we were going to make that.
And if you pay attention to where the third one goes. So there's always 2 that leave, and then there's 1 left. during the lunar cry phase, there's, well, damn. There's 2 ice nipples that disappear and 1 stays behind. The one that stays behind is the one you go behind.
It'd be so much easier if I could heal myself. But nope, can't. Yeah, I just LB'd him. Fuck it.
Well, that was fine. That was the perfect time to do it.
Dude, do I need any of this shit? I don't.
Do I think of Android 17? Which version? I'm gonna eat my chips. 'Cause I want some chips. I'm almost out of these ones. Then I got regular Doritos after this.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave pretty soon.
That's fine. I'm going on story anyway. Tell your friend I said hello, Katie. Yes, there is a fender mount. The Rafferty actually has it.
Well, I unfortunately gotta end stream, guys, because I have to adult tomorrow. So, later, people.